begin. Okay, and good evening, and welcome to this special episode of Il Giovane Podcast. I'm Riccardo Scaringi, and tonight I have the honor of interviewing Steve Jackson, founder of Steve Jackson Games. Can I call you Steve? Okay. Um, uh, it was 1980 when Steve Jackson founded his game company after leaving Metagaming Concepts. His first published product was Ogre, a tactical combat game that's still in production today, over 40 years later. In 1986, Steve Jackson Games launched GURPS, GURPS, the Generic Universal RolePlaying System, one of the first truly universal role-playing game systems designed to work with any setting, that has produced hundreds of supplements over the decades. I was doing the same mistake the last time. Okay. I will start again because I have made a little mistake. Okay, good evening and welcome to this special episode of the Shopping Towel, the Shopping Podcast. I'm Riccardo, and tonight I have the honor of interviewing Steve Jackson, founder of Steve Jackson Games. It was 1980 when Steve Jackson founded this game company after leaving Metagaming Concepts. His first published product was Ogre, a tactical combat game that's still in production today, over 40 years later. In 1986, Steve Jackson Games launched GURPS, the Generic Universal RolePlaying System, one of the first truly universal role-playing game systems designed to work with any setting. And GURPS has produced hundreds of supplements over the decades and continues to be supported today. In 21, the company published Munchkin, illustrated by John Kovalic. What began as a parody of a role-playing game has become one of the world's best-selling card games, with dozens of expansions and themed versions. Steve Jackson Games is also known for Car Wars, the vehicular combat game, and Toon, that we will will talk this evening. The cartoon role-playing game created by the Greg Costikyan and World Spector. Since 1994, Steve Jackson himself has been writing the Daily Illuminator, one of the longest-running gaming blogs on the internet, updated regularly for over 30 years. Tonight, if you want to, we'll talk about his career in game designs, the evolution of the tabletop gaming industry, and the future of gaming, and we'll talk about Toon. Hi, Steve. Welcome. I'm so honored. So let me ask you, thanks for making time from Atlanta, or it was Austin?
Austin, formerly Atlanta now.
Okay. Before we dive in, I want to ask you, I want to tell you that when I told my gaming group I was interviewing you. Three started arguing about GURPS Combat, two pulled out Munchkin decks, and one asked if you could sign his Star Wars box through the screen. So that's the madness that reigned at the news that I was talking to you this day. Um, can I ask you, what's your earliest gaming memory? The moment you realized games could be more than just fun?
Hmm. My earliest gaming memory is of a board game with my family, and I don't even remember its name. It was a space game. Remember moving little asteroids around, but I've never been able to figure out what that game was.
Um, you founded Steve Jackson Games in 1980 after leaving Metagaming. That must have been terrifying, starting with just Ogre, or not.
Well, actually, Ogre stayed with metagaming for a while. Um, S- I started by buying the Space Gamer magazine, which Metagaming no longer wanted to publish, and just did business as the Space Gamer for a while, but eventually got back on the horse and did some games.
What were the first months like?
Busy, like busy.
Um, Ogre is still strong 44 years later. Did you know why it was so special?
Um, I uh, there are a few games for which you can ask, why is this so popular? And I can't answer. I tried to look at my own work and figure out what I did. Ogre was published, of course, in the days when SPI was still shell. And the Ogre rules are very, very heavily influenced by SPS, but they are translated to English, which makes a difference.
Okay. You catch the lightning in the bottle.
Yeah. SPI's rules were famously difficult to interpret.
Okay. That was maybe the reason.
So I have no idea how many hours I spent on their games when I was in college.
And why Austin? It wasn't the gaming capital it is today where you moved there.
No, after I graduated from college, I went up to Austin and attended the law school for a while before deciding that I did not want to be a lawyer.
Oh, if that was the reason. And is Austin still good for new game companies?
Um, I don't know if the physical location matters as much anymore.
Yes, yes. Yes. Um, Looking back at the early years, what was your biggest mistake that sold you the most?
Hmm, that's a good question. I'm thinking back. I suppose probably the one that jumps to mind is that I had an opportunity to license the board game rights for Halo, and I did not follow that up. That, like,
Actually, there's a board game based on Hello.
oh, I'm sure there is now, but I had the opportunity to be first and didn't take.
I haven't seen it yet. No. Okay, I will take a look. um, okay, now we're talking about Toon. Toon returns. So Toon is back. The second edition just launched correct me if I'm wrong. Just launched on BakerKit after 40 years. Why wasn't Kickstarted? Okay, after 40 years, why was now the right time?
Well, really, 10 years ago would have been the right time, um, because people have been asking for the games. But I had a little bit of difficulty in convincing my staff that the game should be reprinted. I was right and they were wrong.
And Greg Costikyan and Warren Spector, Costikyans, and Warren Spector returning after 40 years. Was it smooth or working together, or where the creative tension?
Um, they worked together very well. Greg did Greg wrote the game, and then Warren took the manuscript and developed it. And Greg was delighted with Warren's work and was agreeable to Warren having cover credit and a royalty.
Okay. And Warren Spector himself went from creating a tool to at the time to designing Deus Ex, which I played hour, and Epic Mikey. Do you have a chat? Do you ever chat about that trajectory? How? Uh,
I actually have not spoken to Warren in many years, and I miss him. I like Warren.
and did he bring any video game insight back to second edition?
He did not work on Toon Second Edition.
Oh no.
He's done his job. No, that's what I was saying. I have not spoken to Warren.
Ah, okay. So only Costikyan.
And his involvement in the second edition is limited to supervision.
Oh, okay. Um, the
The development for the second edition was my job with enormous help from J Dragon.
J Dragon. Okay. How did J Dragon's gentle gaming philosophy mesh with the cartoon violence?
Uh, Violence belongs in cartoons and should stay there.
Okay. Toon's rule is forget everything you know. Is it harder to design simple games than complex ones?
Yes, that is one place where Jay was very valuable. Her her comments on simplifying cut deeper than I had thought possible, and everything she said was valid.
Okay. And that's a rule that you wanted to add to Toon, but resisted for simplicity.
Most of the cutting was in the rules backgrounding character creation.
Okay. Um, which is more satisfying to design, Toon's simplicity or GURPS complexity for you?
I'm a complexity guy. I like wheels within wheels. And when I write a game, the first draft is always longer than the final draft.
Um, how does Toon Second Edition handle modern adult animation versus, classic cartoons?
No special rules. There, there is a strong request to the animator that they discuss tone and, would you say, rating
Yeah.
with the players before starting. But all of the Toon rules are valid for more adult animation. You just don't want to spring that on somebody who thinks they're going to be playing Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, of course. Um, what modern cartoon would make the best Toon campaign setting, in your opinion?
Oh, that's hard. So I'm just going to go with my instinct and say Phineas and Ferb.
Okay. Um, let me see. What's the wildest Toon game story you've heard from Pass?
Well, not very long ago, I became aware that Margaret Weiss, Dragonlance creator, had played Toon, and she was willing to give us a blurb for the back cover, and it talked a little bit about her campaign drop back in the day. Uh, they played mostly existing figures. They had Darth Vader and the Roadrunner and Carmen Miranda. I would have loved to see that.
um, any plans for a digital version of Toon? It seems perfect for online play.
Yes, we're going to do supplements, not super fast. It takes a long time to write a Toon adventure because you have to allow for so many possibilities. But we're going to shoot for roughly one a year and from now until the sun goes out.
And you considered licensed Toon supplements for different countries' cartoons. Like in Italy, we have the Rufalberto, no, for example.
The short answer would be no, I haven't thought of it. People can make up their own versions of these characters if they want to. They don't need me for that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about GURPS. Um, GURPS launched in 1986 with an ambitious promise: one system for every game. Did it achieve what you envisioned?
Pretty much. It was very funny. When the game first came out, people said, well, there's only one supplement. How can it be for every game? And then a couple of years later, well, there are only 6 supplements. How can it be for every game? And then a couple of years later, well, there are only 20 supplements. How can it be for every world? But eventually they shut up.
Yeah, because nowadays it's been hundreds of supplements. I think.
Yes.
You are a complexity guy. If you had to redesign GURPS from scratch today, what would you simplify?
Character creation, uh, social skill interaction. I think those are the big ones.
Hmm. And which GURPS supplement are you proudest of that fans might not expect? Your favorite? Time traveling. Oh.
Yes, that was co-written with John N. Ford, who was a wonderful man to work with, and it came out very, very well. Much of it is an homage to the work of H. Beam Piper, one of my favorite science fiction authors.
Oh. And the 3D6 roll under system was revolutionary at the time. What made you choose that over the D20 or, percentile?
Um, I thought that polyhedra were unnecessarily complex. I still think that. There are some very good systems that use polyhedra, but they use them in simple ways.
Okay. Um, GURPS has a reputation for being crunchy. Is that fair, in your opinion? How do you respond?
Completely fair. It's a crunchy system. It's not as crunchy as some people want to make out because the core rules are very straightforward, but there are specialist rules for many, many subjects, and those can get really crunchy. But if we just wanted to sit down and go through a dungeon in GURPS, I could have you running in 30 minutes.
So it's not crunchy as it appears at the first sight.
There's a catch-22 effect. Now that there are that many supplements, people think it has to be crunchy.
And is there a fifth edition on the horizon?
I'm never going to say no to that.
Box.
But I certainly can't say yes, please. As long as people are playing GURPS, there's new ideas coming up. I don't like to do a revision until it's time. There are games that are revised every few years. And sometimes that's because the first job was sloppy, and sometimes it's because there's a grab for money. I would rather people not say either of these things about me.
Oh. And Italian GURPS fans are extremely dedicated. Any memorable interaction with them? Have you had interaction with the dark?
I went to the Lucas show minutes ago and met a lot of GURPS fans. And it was a great deal of fun. The Lucas show is just overwhelming.
Yes, and today is it is most of overwhelmingness. It become huge, very huge. The entire city and beyond is filled with games, with comics, uh, movies. It's enormous. It's enormous. And now the part that interests me most. Let's switch to Munchkin. Munchkin has sold over, I think, uh, in my research, 12 million copies worldwide. Did any part of you expect this?
No, it was created quickly and on a whim. And the first playtesters were very, very enthusiastic about it. But there were also some pointed comments. So before the second playtest, I went back and was more rigorous. And people still liked it. And one thing led to another. My partner, Monica, who helped me in the very early stages of the game, heard that we were only printing 5,000 for the first run, and she said, not enough. She was right. So within a couple of months, we went back for the second print run, 10,000. Monica said, not enough. And she was right. Some of the print runs that we have done for Munchkin have been 50,000. That's about enough.
How crucial was John Kovalic start to Munchkin's success? In your opinion,
I'm sorry, I did not understand.
how crucial was John Kovalic art to Kovalic's art, the Munchkin's success? Sorry for my English.
I think it was no. Your English is great. My hearing is sometimes questionable. Yeah, me too, and I should be wearing. I think it was very important. He caught the flavor of the game perfectly. It's great to brainstorm with John. He has the Munchkin mind. And we are still putting his art in the game.
How did you first connect with John for the project?
We had been working together on some other things. He did a queue of the cards for the Illuminati New World Order book.
Yeah, another mythic play. Have you ever, uh, this is a strange question, have you ever vetoed a Kovalic illustration for being too something?
Have I ever
Vetoed. Withstood.
Oh, yes. We try to keep a suitable for young teens rating for Munchkin. And sometimes John comes up with a funny idea that's just a little bit too off color. And I have to say, sorry, no, that's great, but no. He's always a good sport about it.
Italy loves Munchkin, but the rest of the world loves Munchkin. Why do you think it translates so well across culture?
Because it's silly and it lets people fight at one moment and then cooperate on the next turn and then fight again.
And
So
we
you're all trying to win, but nobody has any particular friend or enemy,
and
or shouldn't.
enough.
Pick out If you pick out one person to be your friend or enemy, you're doing it wrong, and you're not going to win.
Okay, but you have to be ready to backstab your friend at any moment.
Absolutely. And you have to assume that your friend will backstab you.
Is there any Munchkin team that you have rejected as going too far?
Oh, people make less than serious suggestions all the time for adult Munchkin games. And I just have to say, no, thank you.
And on the other side, is there a Munchkin variant you personally want to make that you haven't made already?
That I haven't done yet. Really, I've done most of the ones that I'd really like to do. It would be fun to do Star Wars, but that would be an expensive license.
Uh, Star Wars, yes. Munchkin Digital, which I have played uh, extensively, as soon as he has appeared on Steam, um, I think has had a complicated history. Is there what's the challenge in digitizing Munchkin?
Uh,
What's been the challenge?
The biggest challenge was that I started off working with the wrong partners who spent a long time producing nothing. When Direwolf came on the scene, everything was beautiful. But yes, there were actually more than one failed attempts. But Direwolf knows how to make a good game.
Um, how has your Kickstarter strategy for games evolved since the beginning, since the first Kickstarter?
You've learned the important lesson not to get excited in the middle of a campaign and start adding more stretch goals.
Yeah. The Ogre Designers Edition Kickstarter in 2012 raised almost $1 million.
It was
Dollar.
almost $1 million. It was the biggest board game project ever for a little while, and then another one surpassed it. But yes, that was full of stretch goals added in the middle, which is why it brought in so much money, but it was also a huge amount of work to complete those
To
goals.
complete, yeah. So, do you prefer Kickstarter at the moment or traditional release?
They both have their place. If something is very big, I'm more likely to crowdfund it. But we do a lot of projects that are never going to be huge and are not intended to be huge. And putting the effort of crowdfunding into one of those accomplishes less.
Um, I don't want to talk about artificial intelligence because it's so inflection as a topic.
Let's talk
But
a little bit about artificial intelligence.
okay, please.
Intelligence is terrible.
Okay. What technology excites you most for gaming futures? You know, 3D printing or any other technology that you have witnessed and that you think it's good for board gaming, for creating board games?
You nailed it on the first shot. 3D printed. I'm very excited about being able to print not just my own play pieces, but my own game board if it comes down to that.
Okay. And okay, now a little humor, if you if you give me permission. Okay, the eternal question: how often do you still get confused with the UK Steve Jackson?
All the time.
Okay.
Yes.
What's the funniest mix-up that's happened?
No, I'm sorry?
What's the funniest mix-up that's happened?
Oh, well, when someone gives me one of his books to sign or vice versa.
What's it?
He's a really nice guy. I met him in London many years ago and hit it off with Steve and with his business partner Ian.
Yeah, the latest. I will have a talk with him the next month on March. Ironically, you now publishing fighting fantasy books in US. How did it happen?
Well, Syrian and I try to stay in touch, and in a letter, he just casually mentioned that he no longer had a fighting fantasy presence in North America and that this made him sad. And I wrote back and said, "Are you serious? Do you want a proposal?"
I did, sir.
He did, and
I
we
did.
got a proposal.
Oh, okay. You wrote a few game books yourself. 3. Uh, could you talk a little bit about the creation of these game books at the time?
The first one that I wrote was Scorpion Swamp. And I wrote about the first 1/3 of that on a manual typewriter in the Games Workshop offices in London. As I was over there visiting, and I think it was Steve that said that they couldn't keep up with the demand for fighting fantasy books, but didn't know anybody else who could write a good one. And I said, "Can I try?" And hunt and pecked some out over the next couple of days at their offices, and that wound up with a contract with Puffin Books. The other two were Demons of the Deep and Robot Commando. I don't think any of them is bad, but I think Scorpion Swamp is
the best. Okay. Now, we in these podcasts that I do really focus even on the game design. So I want to you. I am doing a podcast with Steve Jackson. So how can I not ask you about your how you design game? What comes first in your design, theme or mechanics?
theme. Theme is always first. I have to know what I'm writing the game about. Theme suggests mechanic, or if it doesn't, then that's not a theme I should be writing about.
Had you ever had a great mechanics idea but couldn't find the right team?
Nope.
Hmm.
That one has never happened.
And so, another question. What theme have you always wanted to tackle but haven't?
I want to write a city builder, and I've never gotten around to it.
Like SimCity?
Well, the SimCity table game was with cards, and I'm into board game. But yeah,
Like that. And in your opinion, in your experience, can a game succeed with bad theme but good mechanics?
I guess that would be possible if it had very good art to draw people into it.
So let me ask.
Awfully important. It's always been important to gamers, and now the publishers understand that it's important.
Another question is about legacy games. Legacy games are a trend nowadays. Games that permanently change, and that are huge now. Would you ever do a legacy game?
Yes, I think it's an interesting approach.
A Munchkin expansion, which you have to. Um, if you could design one perfect game with unlimited resources, what would it be?
Wow.
Unlimited time, money.
I think it would be an empire builder rather than a city builder. It would have to have computer aids to keep track of the details of the accounting.
Okay. Um,
I
thi-
enjoy terraforming Mars, for instance, and that is right on the edge of what people can reasonably keep up with their own head.
in your opinion, did the remote work change the Steve Jackson games since the pandemic?
I missed a word.
Uh, in your opinion, as the remote work changed the Steve Jackson games since the pandemic?
It made a fundamental change, and we haven't recovered from it yet.
Hmm. At the time, you work remotely extensively. Now,
Yes, our Austin offices are almost empty. And I miss the office environment. It's great for brainstorming.
okay. So I think we have nailed the most important topics on the podcast. But when I talk to game designer, I always make the same final questions, and these are about young designers, and that's one question that I always do. What advice do you have for young game designers today?
Play as much as we can, spend as much time as we can with other gamers. If you have a good local game store, spend time there. Go to game conventions. Um, don't just talk about the game you're going to design someday. Write it down. And then playtest, playtest, playtest.
And what mistakes do you see new designers making repeatedly?
Ignoring the playtest.
Mm. And
Tester is not always the often playtesters will point out a problem and suggest a solution. Often the solution is insane, but that doesn't mean they didn't see a problem. It's just up to the designer to use their own judgment and skills on how to approach it.
And in your opinion and your experience, should designers go independent or join company? I have a suggestion. I had a suggestion from Rainer Knizia, and he said that a young designer, uh, in his opinion, must begin with not alone, with not independent, but with little companies, little producers. How much? Oh, it publishers. Okay, yes, that's right.
Yes. I think that's a very valid opinion. Um, Another way to start is on your own, but only publishing digitally, because creating a physical game requires so many skills. And it's very expensive to teach yourself those skills.
And so, the final question that interests me a lot. What would it take to get you again to look
Bah.
at?
Other than the obvious, an airplane ticket and a hotel room, uh,
This interesting.
I would need to learn more about how show management is dealing with the size of the show. I was there more than 10 years ago, and it was already difficult to make contact with fans and just talk to them as human beings. And
It's still very difficult.
bigger now.
It's still,
I
yeah.
do not enjoy hiding like a little mouse behind the scenes of the tents and then coming out and being part of a panel discussion and then vanishing again, which is what one often has to do at a really big show. I'd like to meet some people and play some games, and I don't know if Luca allows for that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good thought because Luca uh, it's very complicated to attend nowadays.
In the United States, San Diego has the same problem. It's so big.
Okay. Steve, this has been absolutely incredible, this podcast with you. Thank you so much for your time, your stories, and your patience.
Fans out there, I hope you enjoy it.
Yes, absolutely. And your patience, thank you for your patience with my English. Before you do, any final message for the Italian gaming community who've been following your work for 4 decades?
Check out Munchkin Second Edition. I think you'll like it.
Okay. Okay, see, it's been a real pleasure. And I hope you will come again someday.
Thank you. Please let me know when this airs so I can write.
Of course, of course. And my podcast is live on YouTube right now. But I will send you the link of the YouTube video, and we in the next days I extract the audio from the podcast and I will stream on Spotify. I will send that link too. Okay. It's been a dream of mine, and I have fulfilled it. I see.